Are you convinced that you need to raise your prices, but you have no idea where you'll find clients who can afford your new rates? Are you scared to raise your rates because you think you'll lose all your clients? If that's you, have no fear, because in this video, I'm going to share how you can find clients who can afford your new rates. Hey, CourtneyLSanders here. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new to me, I'm a full-time entrepreneur as well as wife and mom. I wear all the hats, I do all the things, and in today's video, I want to talk about how to find clients that can afford your rates, because I know I've talked in the past a lot about raising your rates, particularly if you are selling your time as a coach, consultant, or industry expert. Yes, your time is valuable, and I talk about that because I find that women have no problem charging, their rates or whatever if it's something that they're physically doing, like, if you're a web designer or something like that, nor do they have trouble charging if it's a physical product, right? Because you have overhead and you're like, well, it cost me XYZ to procure the product, and then when I add up my markups, then, this is how much it costs. But I find that a lot of women really shy back when it comes to actually charging just for their expertise and just for their knowledge, and that really holds a lot of women back, and it also leaves a lot of women burned out because they are lowballing themselves, which is a no-no. So I definitely have experience in this arena. I always tell the story about how when I was trying to quit my job, it was crazy because I was, selling my time for peanuts, peanuts really, weeks and weeks and months of coaching for basically no money. And I was having trouble even closing the prospective clients that I was talking to. A lot of them said no because they were like, oh, I can't afford it. But once I was able to raise my rates and learn a lot of the techniques that I'm going to share in this video, I was not only able to close more clients, but I was able to close more clients at 3 times the price that I was previously charging, which is kind of insane. So if you want to know what I did in order to be able to find clients that can afford my new rates, then you definitely want to stay tuned. In fact, let's get into it. Okay, the first thing you'll want to do is find clients who can do more with what you offer. So I actually talk a lot about this in this video here, or is it here? I never know which side of the screen. But this video where I talk about how to get over imposter syndrome when it comes to raising your rates. And so oftentimes we target people who really can't do much with whatever it is that we are offering, and then we wonder why, everybody is saying no to our rates. But if you are targeting people who can do more, then you'd be really surprised. So let's say that you coach, I don't know, real estate agents, right? And you want to raise your rates. Or you have a business that consults with real estate agents or helps them, earn more from their listings or find their own clients or whatever it is that you do. Why not go after real estate agents who, maybe sell more expensive homes or sell commercial real estate or work with a certain type of client? Like, go with a real estate agent or target real estate agents who have more at stake, because they'll be more invested and more likely to want to spend more money in order to get the result for whatever it is that you're offering. In previous videos, I've used the example of wardrobe stylists. A lot of wardrobe stylists just come out and they say, oh, I just want to help anybody who needs help with their style. But I'm like, why not go after people who have more at stake, right? Why not go after authors who are trying to get their books on the best New York Times bestseller or some sort of bestsellers list, and you specifically help style them for, their photo shoots and their press junkets? Or maybe you go after high-powered female executives who do a lot of TV, work, or are constantly being invited to various meetings and board meetings and conferences, and they need to look presentable. Well, those people have more at stake, so they're more likely to spend the money. So you want to find clients that can do more with what you offer, because it allows you to charge more. All right, the next thing you want to do is give your clients what they're really paying for. So at the end of the day, particularly if you are a coach, consultant, or expert, people aren't paying for your expertise as much as they're paying for your expertise to get a certain result. So you really want to narrow down on what that result is and really market yourself as someone who can help achieve that result. A big mistake that I see a lot of coaches, consultants, and industry experts make is that they just talk about, their coaching. Like, they're trying to sell their coaching for however much, and they're like, oh, well, it's, a 3-month package, and we're going to have 1 call a week, and, so that's 12 calls, and each call is 45 minutes. And it's like, no one cares about that. Like, they're not really buying your coaching. They're not really buying 12 weekly calls. They're not buying this package per se. They're buying a specific result. And so you really want to brand yourself and really, market yourself as a person who can make this result happen. So going back to the example that I used earlier about, a wardrobe stylist who helps people get their image together to get to the New York Times bestsellers list or something like that if they're authors, or they have to get their PR together, and then you can brand yourself as best-selling or stylist for best-selling book authors, or stylist for aspiring best-selling book authors, right? So it's not so much, in your package, your wardrobe styling package, I'm going to give you 3 looks, and then we're going to work together for 3 months, and I'm going to shop at these stores. No one cares, they just care about the end result. And so you want to talk about how you're going to market them and make them look like somebody who would be on the New York Times bestseller list. And of course, I'm just making this example up, but that's what I'm saying. Give the people what they're really paying for, okay? So focus on the result and not so much on the individual package or, the nuts and bolts, how many calls you get, because no one cares. All right, going along with that, the next thing you need to do is up your branding. So I will not lie. If you are going to raise your prices, you need to look like someone who can command those prices. And when I say look like, I mean in terms of your branding. Your website should look a certain way. Your marketing should look really professional and really polished. Your social media should look good. So again, this is something that people struggle with because they don't necessarily want to make this investment in the beginning. But I've talked about previously how I paid, virtual assistants and graphic designers while I was still working my full-time job before I even paid myself in my own business. And I did that because I knew how important having great branding was in order to be able to attract higher-end clients. In fact, a lot of the higher-end clients that I was working with didn't even know that I was working a full-time job. They already thought that I was full-time in my business because of how well branded I was in my marketing and in my website and all of those things. And I shelled out every single month to have a designer be able to do those things while I was still growing my business, even though I wasn't paying myself. So this might be a hard pill to swallow, but again, if you want to charge higher prices, you need to look like someone who can command that, and people do judge a book by its cover. So if you got a super janky website, or your branding is busted, or everything just kind of looks willy-nilly or DIY or just thrown together, that's not going to cut it. So you definitely want to make an investment in your branding. All right, I got more tips where that came from, but first I want to hear from you. What type of clients do you want to attract? Go ahead and put it in the comments below. All right, the fourth thing that you need to do, and no one talks about this, but this is so important, is you need to become the kind of client you want to attract. Okay? So I remember once I did a speaking engagement and I gave this example, and there was like an audible gasp in the room, and I was like, really? But it was an entrepreneur event, and I was kind of talking about the same concept of how, you need to get in the mindset of being a business owner if you want to be a successful business owner, and you need to treat other businesses the way you would want people to treat your business. And so I gave the example. I was like, if you're one of those people that likes to go to Nordstrom or some high-end store, get the dress and hide the tag and wear it, and not cut it off, and then take it back knowing that you worn the dress, well, what do you think that says? Like you essentially are saying you're not respecting this business, but you want other people to respect your business. What do you think that is putting out? What kind of energy do you feel like you're putting out? And it's the same thing when it comes to attracting clients. If you are a terrible client yourself when it comes to working with other people, if you are always lowballing people, if you don't show up to your appointments on time, if you don't value what people have to offer, if you don't honor your word, you're going to find difficulty attracting higher level clients because, people like to do business with people ultimately that they can relate to. And so there are just subtleties that, really high achieving clients will notice about a business owner, and they want to find their like match. And so if they kind of notice that you are not on the ball with things, or you don't honor your word, or, you're kind of all over the place, they're more apt to pass you up because you're not on their same frequency. So you really want to think about what type of characteristics do these higher level clients have, clients that, pay higher prices and pay on time, and are you that type of client yourself when it comes to doing business with other people? Are you the type of client that other people want to do business with, or do you give people a headache? Are you a nightmare to work with? Because if you're a nightmare to work with, you're most likely going to attract other nightmare clients because they can sense it, they can smell it out, right? and the best clients are going to avoid you because they can kind of sense, that incongruency. So you really want to think about who you are in order to make sure that you're attracting the type of people that you want to attract. All right, the fifth thing you need to do is change your messaging. So this is something that people don't talk about, but it's very, very important. And, clients, again, who are great clients, who are willing to pay higher prices, who don't give you headaches, don't respond to the traditional messaging that other people put out. So you really want to make sure that you are speaking just to them. So maybe you were speaking to, nightmare clients in the past, and that's why you had so much difficulty, finding people who are willing to pay your prices or finding people who weren't going to give you a headache. Start to look at your messaging. What kind of posts do you put on social media? What kind of topics do you talk about? What kind of things are you saying that is attracting these people? And the easiest thing is just to say the opposite, right? So if you're not liking the type of prospects that you're getting right now, really do a deep dive into your messaging, really do a deep dive into your marketing, and then switch it up and ask yourself, what type of marketing do the people that I want to attract ultimately respond to? And if you're not sure, look at the marketing for the other things that they're buying, even if it's not in your industry. So if there's certain food products that they buy, certain electronics that they buy, certain cars that they buy, look at the language of that marketing and see how you can incorporate that type of messaging in your own marketing in order to be able to attract those clients too. All right, I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you want even more, particularly how to learn how to attract clients in a really simple but powerful way, I invite you to join me on my Consistent Client Masterclass, which is really gonna walk through my entire process. So this is a process that I personally use. I use it to this day. This is the process that helped me get out of my job. So if you're really looking to not only get clients that can afford to pay your prices, but really attract clients who will pay you at all, then you need to be on this masterclass. So you can go check that out at CourtneyLSanders.com/masterclass or click the link below. All right, I hope you enjoyed this video. So if you did, give it a thumbs up. And if you want even more, make sure that you are subscribing. And if you want even more outside of YouTube, go ahead and check me out on my podcast, which is The Courtney Sanders Show, both on iTunes and Spotify. And if you want even more beyond the podcast and the YouTube channel, then go ahead and check me out on Instagram. My username is CourtneyLSanders. Feel free to give me a follow, leave a comment, send me a DM. And with that, I will see you in the next video. Bye.